Eric Dubay says the horizon proves the Earth is flat. But what does the actual evidence show? Let's explore this. Welcome back to Star Stuff, where we become equipped to silence a flat earther in the Facebook comment section.
It's true.
Let's take a closer look at what happens when a ship sails away and what that tells us about the shape of our planet. In his video, Dubay argues that if Earth were truly a globe, the curvature would be obvious and we'd never see things like distant mountains or cities. He also says ships just disappear because of perspective, not because of curvature.
Unfortunately, Aristotle lived in a time before the invention of binoculars, telescopes, and zoom cameras, all of which can now be used to bring ships and other objects hidden beyond the horizon back into full view. It turns out, objects disappearing at the limit of your vision are going beyond the horizon, not beneath the horizon.
But here's the truth. On a globe Earth, the horizon is where the surface of the Earth curves away from your line of sight. That's why ships don't just get smaller, they disappear bottom first. If it were just about perspective, ships would shrink evenly. Think about it, like an object moving away on a flat floor, but they don't. The hull vanishes before the mast, and that's curvature in action. I've noticed flat earthers love saying you could just zoom in and bring the ship back, but that's not what happens. Zooming may reveal more details of the top parts, but it doesn't bring back the bottom that's already gone over the curve. Regarding the curvature of the Earth and that it can be calculated, over just a few miles, the curve becomes enough to hide a ship's hull. That's why lighthouses are tall, and that's why large ships vanish from the bottom up. Sometimes we see a distorted version of a ship that appears whole, even though it's technically behind the curve, and that's due to a real optical effect called refraction, not proof of flatness. So, looking at the horizon from different points of view, the higher you go, the farther you can see, and the more of Earth's curve becomes visible. On a flat Earth, the horizon would rise to eye level forever. But it doesn't. It stays below you, just like on a globe. Eric Dubay wants you to ignore what your eyes, your camera, and centuries of physics are showing you. But the truth is simple. We see ships disappear over the curve, we see the horizon change with height, and we can even calculate the curve. The Earth is not flat, and the horizon proves that. I want to end off by talking about seeing the sunset and the moonrise over the horizon. So flat earthers claim that the sun gets smaller as it sets because they believe it's a small local object that's moving away from us and eventually vanishing into the distance. But here's the problem with that. If the sun were shrinking in the sky as it moved away, we'd actually see it getting smaller and smaller until it disappeared. Think about it. This is the sun. And if it's going away from you, it's getting smaller and smaller and smaller. Eventually it would disappear. But it's not what happens. In reality, the sun stays the same size all day long. Photographic evidence proves this. What does happen is an optical illusion. At sunrise and sunset, the sun and moon often look bigger on the horizon than they do when they're overhead. This is due to the psychological trick called the Ponzo illusion, where our brains compare the sun or moon to nearby objects like trees or buildings. It only seems bigger but it isn't really. And far from supporting a flat Earth, the consistent apparent size of the sun and the moon and the way it cleanly dips below the horizon, bottom first, perfectly matches what we expect on a rotating globe. Thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed it, please like and subscribe. You can do it now while I'm talking to you. And comment down below. I'd love to have conversations with every single one of you. And share it with people who are battling with their horizons. Also follow my other pages on Facebook and Instagram and everywhere else. Cool beans.